Get in the car.
I'm bleeding.
This guy has no idea. Logan Paul, you're trying to make your drink the most popular rehydration drink in the world. So these guys have signed Bayern Munich. They're the official rehydration partner of the UFC. They don't even understand hydration. This is crazy. In only a few minutes, I'm going to teach you all the things that people like Logan Paul and KSI don't want you to know about when it comes to hydration. These happen to be the two worst flavors. See that? Proper hydration drinks.
This is $10. This is okay?
$10?
Yeah.
Can you tell me how much that is one more time?
$10.
$10. $10, that's £5. If you British, I'm grateful there's $10 because that helps me prove. That was $20. Best be careful handling them. You see the way he warned me?
This is $10. This is okay?
That guy should have been wearing a black and white stripy jumper and an eye mask because he's robbing us. So what I've got here are 3 of the most popular hydration beverages. Now, if you recall to earlier on what Logan Paul said in his video, he was virtue signaling about the sugar content.
This 20-ounce bottle of Gatorade has 34 grams of sugar in it. One bottle of Prime has 2 grams of sugar. That's 17 times the amount of sugar.
Now, before I get into which one I think is superior, let's go for a quick lesson in hydration and dehydration. So depending on which sport you do, which duration and what elements you're in, there's going to be a different amount of dehydrating that occurs. So if you're playing rugby sevens in the summer, or whether or not you're playing football, maybe you're doing a CrossFit workout, whatever it is, there's going to be an element of sweating. Now, typical bodybuilder workouts don't elicit tremendous amounts of sweat. So if you're going to do 15 sets of bodybuilding exercise, an electrolyte beverage isn't an essential. But if you're going to do something over a longer duration, if you don't want to see your performance taper off, kind of is. I'll explain why. Fat loss gurus over the years have said to people that when you sweat, it's your fat crying. It's not. It's your body trying to regulate its temperature and you will lose water. But it's not just water that you're losing. We also lose salt. That's why, have you ever noticed that on a hot and sticky day, your dog just can't resist licking you? They're licking that salt, they're enjoying it. Do you notice that? And also, we got those mates that sweat and they wear the baseball caps that they really should have given up like a year ago. And you start to see like the French Alps on the side. That's the salt from their sweat drying up and crustificationing, new word, on the hat. If you're partaking in a sport, especially something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that I do, where we lose loads of water and loads of salt, if you replenish with just water, over time, you're going to create a negative balance of sodium, which is an electrolyte. And electrolytes are very important to maintain optimal performance. Could have gone for a science lesson there, but I didn't. Now, there are other electrolytes. Potassium and calcium, magnesium. I put et al. You're not supposed to put et al. That means and others, as in other authors or people. You would say etc. if you're talking about things that aren't people, but I just like the way it looks. The reason that I made these electrolytes small is, although we do lose them in periods of sweat and through exercise, we don't lose them nearly half as much as we do water and salt. These are the 2 main ones that we want to prioritize when we're looking to replenish things we're losing in intense bouts of exercise. So let's go back to the bottles for a second. If we look here at the breakdown on the back, we can see the amount of sodium, which is salt, being just 5 milligrams. Then if we look over here at Powerade, we can see sodium at 168 milligrams. So this one's got a lot more sodium, which is one of the key players we need to keep an eye on in hydration. Now potassium here, 700 milligrams. If we look up here, 200 milligrams. Very simply, we can see that Prime is low in sodium, high in potassium, and Powerade is high in sodium, low in potassium. So understanding that when we sweat, we lose mostly water and salt, which one of these 2 do you think is going to be superior?
Chat. This one guy in chat, okay, that's a do a kickflip, okay? I hope you're happy, okay? Congratulations, you caused fucking damage across the fucking universe, okay? Dude, you win, okay? You win. I lose this one time.
Replenishing the sodium that you're losing, not Prime. Okay, hold that. You're gonna try first sip. The next thing this brings me on to is the amount of sugar that's in these. So if we look at the amount of sugar that's in Prime, 2 grams of sugar. And when we look at the amount of sugar that we've got in Powerade, 35 grams of sugar, which is equivalent to about 6.
Hold on, let me show you. Look at how the skateboard is brand new. Look at the grip tape of it. Look at it. Look at that. Look at it. You can fucking, dude. It's shiny. It's so brand new. Holy fuck, dude. No shit. It clapped my shit up.
Teaspoons. So that makes Powerade worse because it's got way more sugar. Incorrect. You might be hearing rain. That could be rain outside, or it could be Logan Paul's PR team with a sprinkler outside trying to silence me. Because what you're about to learn changes everything. When it comes to replenishing water and salt, there is one thing that is used to speed up the process. Glucose is a very big player in speeding up the process of getting these electrolytes into the bloodstream. When it comes to rapid rehydration, which would be your preference if you're in a sporting environment, glucose would be a good thing. But what if you're in a calorie-controlled diet or you don't want to get excess calories in through your hydration beverage? Well, then you would pick a sugar-free alternative like what Gatorade do. This way you get the electrolytes and no sugar, which puts it in more to a comparison with Prime. But then again, if we also check, sodium 336 milligrams, potassium 72 milligrams. Gatorade also understand the electrolytes which are important for sport performance and go high with sodium, low with potassium. So looking at the key players in the hydration market, if you want the best hydration, you're probably going to be looking here. And if you wanted the best hydration without calories or getting any of it in through sugar, you would look over here. So what exactly is Prime good for? Not a lot. Now I know what you're thinking. Why listen to me? James, you're just a personal trainer, counts reps for a living. So I called up my friend Jordan Sullivan, who's also known as the Fight Dietitian, who's a world expert in dehydration and rehydration, seeing as he prepares world champions in the UFC for a living. This is what he had to say.
When you sweat, you lose fluid from your skin. But where does the fluid come from? Well, it's actually coming from your blood. So the blood is important when we talk about rehydration. When we drink fluids, it doesn't just fall straight from our mouth into our blood. It has to go into our stomach, into our small intestine, and then cross a wall to get into the blood. Crossing that wall is where the problem lies. That wall has a couple of entry points where water can get in. If water goes across by itself, it's slow as all fuck. However, if you can put the right amount of sodium with the right amount of glucose in there, you have just made that drink a VIP. But the way that Prime is formulated, you're going the opposite way of getting.
It's not funny because sugar is like instant, right? Doesn't sugar kick in like instant? So like if you need glucose now and you eat something, it goes bing, instant.
In. That's why these comparisons that Prime do with other drinks are so ridiculous. Every drink that they compare themselves with actually have way better hydrating or sports drink properties than what they do. That's why doctors hook patients up to bags of IV fluids that are made of water, sodium, and glucose, and all good sports drinks have these ingredients in them because it works exceptionally well. I'm yet to see a doctor prescribe a bag of coconut water, bananas, or anything else with high potassium for someone with dehydration. So in short, hydration is a very interesting term for these guys to use, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
If performing well and being hydrated is important to you, I actually wouldn't pick any of these. You could get away with taking some water, putting a sprinkle of salt and cordial in it, and you would get the majority of the benefits for a fraction of the price. 10 Australian dollars and £5 for something that hasn't even got the right electrolytes or the right mixtures to call it a legitimate hydration beverage is a rip-off. And these aren't that well priced either. Because I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I sweat a lot as a person and performance is important to me, before every session, I get electrolyte powder and I mix it with water. I get to save myself a fucking fortune from buying these overpriced drinks, and I get the exact concoction that I want. Better yet, I can determine how strong I want that electrolyte powder depending on how long the duration of my session is or how dehydrated I'm feeling at the time. And if you're someone that trains most days, although you're only saving a few dollars, that adds up. And across the month of the year, that'll probably equate to buying a new pair of lifting shoes or buying a gym program off a trainer online. And better yet, there are solutions out there formulated by people who, one, know what they're doing, and two, have a brain when it comes to hydration. Unless you're someone that's into wasting their money when it comes to improving their performance.
The first mistake is people using their brains. Nobody gives a fuck, brother. Well, the branding is the power. Like you just
the only two things I deem important on a daily basis to get in are electrolytes and creatine. So hopefully by now you understand why decent electrolyte is going to be one of the perfect things to accompany you every day when you train. The only other thing that I mix into this solution is creatine. And if you want to understand why every single person has a brain when it comes to training and nutrition, ensures that they have creatine every single day and the benefits that it can have for you, then you're going to need to watch this video here that I made for you so you can understand why these are the only things you really need to be taken to the gym on a daily basis. Thanks for watching.
Makes sense. Well, this chicken is insane, chat. Dude, this chicken, I'm not watching that, is